Are you searching for a smarter way to invest in real estate? Have you ever considered leveraging your existing rental property to buy another? In this video, I'll show you how to use the cash flow and equity from your current rental property to invest in another one. I'll walk you through the entire process step by step, so sit back and get ready to learn how you can use your rental property as a launch pad to multiply your portfolio. Let's get started. Now, before we even get into how to leverage your rental property to buy another, you gotta understand what leverage is when we're talking about real estate investing. Leverage is when an investor combines the power of other people's money and a down payment to purchase a property, ultimately resulting in greater returns on their investments. For example, if a property costs $350,000 and an investor puts down $70,000 and takes the remaining $280,000 out as a loan, the investor is already in a better financial situation to start earning a positive cash flow. A mortgage loan is almost always a form of leverage for investors because they don't have to pay the entire price of the property to take ownership, place a tenant, and start earning income. However, if you want to avoid getting a new loan and use the method most successful investors use, the trick is to use the equity in your existing rental property to purchase your next one. Essentially, your equity is the share of the property that you own, which you can calculate by taking the property's market value and subtracting how much you still owe on the loan. You can build equity in many ways, such as making larger mortgage payments that go directly to principal instead of interest, or making improvements to increase the property's market value. Of course, you could also make a larger down payment or switch to a shorter loan term as well. Regardless of how you go about doing it, once you've built up equity in the property, you can then use it to purchase another property. Now, how would you go about doing this? There's actually three ways: a home equity loan, a home equity line of credit, or a cash out refinance. With a home equity loan, you can take out a loan based on the amount of equity you've built up already to make a down payment on another investment. You would have to repay the loan over time in monthly installments, usually with a fixed rate. But with the new stream of income created by purchasing another property, making that payment won't be too challenging. The next way to leverage the equity is with a home equity line of credit, or a HELOC. Like the home equity loan, you can borrow from the equity built up. However, it works more like a credit card than a loan. So let's say you have $70,000 in equity, right? Instead of getting the entire $70,000 given to you in a lump sum, you'll be told you have up to $70,000 to spend, but you don't have to repay the entire amount, only what you use. So if you only use $40,000 of that $70,000 for the next down payment, you only have to repay the $40,000. HELOCs usually have both variable and fixed rate interest rate options, depending on the lender. Now, the last option is a cash out refinance. With this option, you basically replace your existing mortgage with a larger one and then access the difference as cash. So let's say you have $190,000 left on the mortgage loan and you go this route and get a new loan for $250,000. You get that $60,000 difference back in cash without it being taxed or having restrictions on how you can use it. Any of these three methods will give you a cash injection to use for your next rental property without having to come out of pocket. So now that we've got that understanding, the question remains, is using your profits from your first property the best option here? That way you avoid using another loan or line of credit. So let's talk about that. You can save up for another down payment and get another mortgage, or just save up so much that you buy the property outright, but the problem here is that your profits are tied up. Instead, you can access the equity and still have the profits, which you can use to improve the existing property to increase its market value, or use it to pay off the mortgage faster. By using the equity instead of your savings or profit, you can eliminate your debt and increase your income much quicker. Not to mention, getting approved for a loan using your existing property's equity is much easier and expedites the process significantly. Now, like anything in life, there are risks that you should be aware of if you decide to go this route. First, your original property can be at risk if the deal goes south, or you run into financial hardship when trying to repay the loans or line of credit. Then, depending on which option you go with, there could be closing costs involved with the home equity loan that you need to account for. Lastly, you have to be responsible enough to handle multiple mortgage payments with different interest rates and terms, which can be tricky, especially for first-time or beginner investors. So, we discussed in this video ways you can leverage your equity to purchase another property, but should you go this route? Leveraging your existing home equity to acquire a rental property is an investment that will aid you in amassing wealth and paying off debt. This makes it an attractive choice for real estate investors. However, as with any important decision, consider both the advantages and disadvantages before deciding so that you can evaluate other funding options available. One option that many investors are turning to, especially in the current economic climate, is zero interest business credit. Similar to the HELOC, you only have to repay what you borrow, but the advantage is that it isn't tied to your existing property, so none of your assets are at risk. If you want to learn how to use zero interest business credit to purchase your next rental property, I've linked my free business credit masterclass in the description for you. Not only will I teach you how to use credit like cash to purchase real estate without having to pay cash advances, but I'll also show you how to position yourself to receive up to $250,000 of credit to build your portfolio. No matter which option you go for, whether it be a loan, HELOC, or business credit, investing in real estate is an excellent way to generate additional income and build wealth over the long term. Ultimately, you just have to do proper planning, research, and analysis to see what makes the most sense for you and your goals. But I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we know what content you want to see more of. As always, I'm Ari Page. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.